The Fishing Paper Show is proudly brought to you by United Fisheries, bringing fresh fish to your plate.
Another setting which people tend to put into automatic and forget about is range. This is the amount of water you'll see on your screen. When in automatic, your range will be from the surface to the seabed. And this is fine if fishing in shallower water, but not when heading out into the deeper water. This is down to pixels per metre. In shallower water, for example 40 metres, automatic works okay. However, if left on automatic and you go out into deeper water, say 160 metres, it doesn't work as well, as we have the same amount of pixels but 4 times the depth. Usually when fishing in deeper water, anglers tend to be targeting specific fish which are likely to be at certain depths, so we can adjust our sounder to look at these depths. Firstly, determine the depth of water you want to see on your screen. Today we'll set it to 40 metres. You'll see we're now looking from 0 to 40 metres on our screen. Once you've set your range, you can then move it down the water column, and if I bring up the shift box and move it to 10, you'll see we are now looking from 10 to 50 metres. Our range has stayed the same, I've just moved it a bit deeper. So let's proceed to move this down to the desired depth, and you'll see that we are now looking from 120 to 160 metres and focusing our attention onto the area we want to target. Next week we'll look at zoom modes and how these can help us find the fish sitting just above the seabed.
Well, the West Coast is known for its whitebait, and this season it got off to a slow start. I was down there recently to check out whether the whitebait were running and found that most of them were walking. But I did meet some interesting characters. Check this out. West Coast is considered the South Island's last frontier. Pioneered by the early gold rush settlers, it's still a pretty amazing place to visit. But it's gold of a different kind that's attracting people to this region. I'm talking white gold, whitebait. And I'm here at the mouth of the Hokitika River, and we're going to try and track down some of that elusive West Coast delicacy. Scoop netters diligently work the mouth of the river, where it's really a case of blind dragging. It is an unwritten law that you take your turn in line, otherwise you might take a dipping yourself. Norrie Ewing is a newbie on the Hoki, having only fished there for 4 years. He's hoping that in another 25 he may be granted citizenship. The season has been slow, so every bit of bait is precious.
We laugh at people that do that.
Yeah, the guys that do it. The coasters use an ingenious sieve device to clean the whitebait on the river. And the action attracts curious spectators. As the bait moves up the river, they enter the domain of the trench holders. Here I met Pete Campion, who has fished the same trench for 10 years now.
How you doing, Crimpy? Oh, good to see you. Good to see you. G'day.
Pete has constructed a telescopic trench or platform which can be folded away in 10 minutes. Very handy in a river that floods a lot. Pete explained to me that because there was such little bait in the river, he was fishing a Southland sock net. Any bait that went into the net were captured in a trap. At other times he uses a box net that has to be lifted and emptied regularly. It's a good workout when there's bait about. When the bait run, they're easily seen over the spotters, but in true West Coast fashion, Pete couldn't be drawn on how much bait he actually catches. With the top of the tide, Pete lifts his net for the last time.
eagerly anticipating today's fortunes. While not what he hoped for, it's better than a smack in the teeth with a rotten mullet.
Oh, look at that. Wow. I don't know what it is, but there is something almost magical about whitebait. Now this is the white gold that we've came to the coast for. It's pure glass, which means it's fresh, run whitebait.
Oh, she could be all on.
10 times in there.
Yeah.
The trouble with whitebaiting, you get nothing done. But if you're not down here, you don't know. But when you aren't down here, you're worried that you're going to miss out. And at times you do miss out. And I was taught years ago to fish every tide as much as you can.
Yum, yum. Very tasty it was indeed. We'll have more of that in another show. But coming up after the break, the yum factor is still here. I cook some scallops and we go kayaking with Doug.